info.
And now, Hard Facts. Hard Facts with Dio.
Hello, welcome back to Hard Facts 91.3 Nigeria Info and Herringbone Harcourt. I'm Dio. 9 minutes gone past 4 p.m. Conversation continues. Many thanks for staying tuned. We continue with proceedings on the show today. A very important matter we'll discuss now this time, especially one that's come to the forefront. Once again, it's come to the forefront because it's been at the forefront, and especially at different times, more forefront than other issues. But it's definitely one of the most frontal issues at this time, especially in River State, considering recent development with fires in some parts of the state, especially here in Port Harcourt, and some of these fires connected to the activities of illegal oil refiners and others engaged in other related illicit and criminal activities. On the news earlier today, the Environmental Rights Action and Friends of the US Nigeria said it remains worrisome that the government is doing little to nothing to stop illegal oil refining in the Niger Delta. It followed the recent 3 fire outbreaks in 3 consecutive days in River State. The head of Port Harcourt, or the Port Harcourt office, Kentebe, Ebiaridor, tells our correspondent the health and environmental impact remains dire. Let's hear what Kentebe had to say about this most development indeed when it's
refining going on in the states, on the stopped by the government, on by the military, and that our children, our fathers, our mothers, those that are vulnerable health-wise will be inhaling substances that are destroying their own health system. People don't have any regard for the environment, for human lives. They will go at any point in what they're doing to ensure that they get profit and do not spend money.
Illegal oil refining persisting in the Niger Delta. What are its impacts? What must we do to finally bring it to an end? These and other related matters discussed in this hour. My guest is John B. Van So Kentebe Ebiaridor is head Environmental Rights Action Friends of the US Nigeria Port Harcourt office. Kentebe, good evening to you. You're welcome to Hard Facts.
Good evening to this time. Thank you for having me.
Right, let's get straight to it then, Kentebe. A lot has been done regarding the issue of illegal oil refining in the Niger Delta region, and I mean a lot, quite a lot. Conferences have been held, discussions, symposia, international conferences, international donor agencies have rolled out and doled out tons of money. People have been lost in hotels, discussions have been held, they've broken into panels and segments and come up with all kinds of blueprints and white papers. Government agencies have been set up. They draw budgets every year. Humongous sums are released for them to oversee this and stop that. And security agencies are equipped as well. You have different formations, specialized tactical units set up within security formations, like even the police, for example. Discussions on radio, like we're having right now, TV programs, you name it. It's all been done. If it can be mentioned, if it can be imagined, I'm sure at some point or the other, it has been done to address the issue of illegal oil refining in the Niger Delta region. In spite of all of this, would you say that we are witnessing a reduction, or would you say the situation has persisted, or maybe is it on the increase?
Okay, thank you. That was a very nice analogy you gave, where you actually mentioned that almost everything has been done. But what is most shocking after all what has been done, after all the campaigns, all the statements by relevant stakeholders, is the fact that it doesn't seem to be reducing. I mean, it has come to a stage where it is kind of a permanent theme that is now with us. But I don't understand why all of these lectures have gone on, seminars have gone on, and yet people are still involved in this part of activity. There is only one thing I can see, that there is an incentive. There is an incentive for going into such things, and mostly there is a market for it. So if the government can attack the market and also attack the incentive by trying to reduce the poverty situation, maybe that can ameliorate the situation. But I think there is an incentive and there is a market. That's why it is on the increase.
Oh, okay, there is an incentive for just about any crime, if not every crime. But let's talk about the government perspective we've brought into this. You say that government is doing little to nothing to stop illegal oil refining in the Niger Delta. But if you consider government actions and posturing, quite a lot has been done, really. I mean, a lot of sensitization programs have been held, even legislation. Well, one could argue that government could do more in the area of legislation, but there's been some progress even in the area of legislation, strengthening such as Nostra. I think Nostra, the name of the appendage has changed recently with the passage of the PIA and other such related activities ongoing. But I mean, we have the agencies, we have the NSCDC, we have all of those. So how do you say then that government has done little or nothing?
Well, it's not by creating those agencies or trying to create an arm to fight the situation and to fight at the same time. Or it's about political will to match those agencies' activities with action. It's time to match it with action. We don't need to have all of those agencies if they were performing in the first place. For instance, there is still a misunderstanding as to who is in charge of air pollution in Nigeria. Is it Nigeria or is it Nostra? Those are the two. Those ones are there. Where one of them is, they seem to be the one in charge, then we should expect more from them. At the moment, activities of oil pollution is part of what Nostra is doing. And also at the same time, Nigeria also has the power to look into issues around air pollution. So that alone is a completing part of this. That is on one side. But again, having all of these, the NSCDC, having the law being set up, having the different institutions trying to do one of the things, it should be able to see an amount of people. If the NSCDC is fighting this thing headlong, we should be able to see an amount of people. But what we are seeing is not a reduction in the factory or in the fact that we have little or no food coming up. It's the fact that food is increasing. So as long as it is increasing, there is no yardstick to measure how the efforts of these agencies that have been set up are able to achieve results. It's difficult to see. Moreover, there is no sensitization or information coming from them to say, this time around, this is the air quality monitor that we read, and after our results, this is the outcome. For the month of October, this is the food situation in the state. Then based on the fact that they have that data, they could also use the information they get from other agencies to see how this is being used. For instance, when people know that we inhale like maybe 5 or 10 centimeters in the month of October, and we now have to have in the next month we have a reduction to maybe 4. That would mean that there's progress. That will also mean that they were able to tell us how they were able to achieve that goal. Was it reduction in the activity, or was it the fact that the air around us naturally improved? Those are the type of things we need to know. And based on the fact that we don't have that information at that, it is difficult to measure the justice to say that they are doing very well. As far as I'm concerned, they need to do more. They may be doing well, but they need to do better than what they're doing.
Well, still, we'll come back to government in a moment. Let's talk about your organization, Environmental Rights Action. You talked about government a while ago and certain information or data that they should make public. Assuming government doesn't have that data, or maybe government does have the data, but for whatever reason is unwilling to make it public, what is your organization's yardstick, Environmental Rights Action? But what yardstick or data do you rely on to determine that we're having an increase in illegal oil refining or even soot, as you mentioned just a while ago?
Okay, so for ERA, we are actually doing some air quality monitoring program, and at this time we're taking readings from different parts of the city to monitor the air quality, and although that is still being fine-tuned, see how we can get relevant information on the data, we are making maximum progress, and the type of results we are seeing can be alarming, because we see that there is certain times in certain areas of the startup where the situation about the weather is very, very bad and not safe for consumption as humans. We see that a lot, and that's what we still on. We are trying to establish to look up on the best ways and the best solutions to ensure that we give government best advice to tackle this issue. But in the meantime, we feel that it's something that the government can do better while everybody puts their hands together as stakeholders. But most important is they should start looking at the air quality and the situation of the state.
Now, the air quality may not be the best, or may be a far cry from what it should be. But how is the ERA able to determine that it is directly as a result, or mostly impacted by the activities of these illegal oil refiners? I do remember the Rivers State Government commissioned some research work, some investigation, I think a couple, maybe 2 years ago, give or take thereabouts, and the result was, yes, though the activities of illegal oil refiners contribute to it, but we also heard that the activities of abattoirs also contribute, alleging that they burn the hide of the cows or the meat using tires, and that contributed a lot, and there was a ban placed on that. Also, there was some company, I think some construction company, that was alleged to be burning maybe bitumen or some other substance illegally, that was contributing, and there was some efforts being made by the government at that time to clamp down on these activities. The company burning stuff, the butchers burning the hide or skin of cows and the likes as well. So, how is environmental rights action able to determine that all of these environmental, quality of the air issues are caused predominantly or mostly by the activities of the illegal oil refiners?
Well, it's not too bad to see that particular. Because first and foremost, let us have a situation where we have those issues. In the past one we had those issues, we all know how to keep the control. We knew the type of air we breathe. And for now, during this time of the year, some years ago, as before this Scottish and not at the time, you could see that you could wipe the surface of your table in the morning without seeing any flags of that. But it's probably not, and that was the situation then. But right now, based on the activities of this illegal refining in the city of Port Harcourt and also the surrounding community, it is very clear that the outcomes of the incomplete combustion of those activities goes into the air and rests on the properties of the environment and also in the air as we appreciate it. So it's nothing too different from I think that. And again, we also do not forget that the Port Harcourt refinery was a major contribution at that point in time. I passed rest of this ago, I see that the flares are not going on. Maybe probably because they're having a turnaround maintenance. But the flares in the Port Harcourt refinery and the petrochemical plant are also major contributors to all of this. That is why you see the addition of this additional refining with that of the activities going on in the back of the entire situation where we had more heat coming out.
Now, you talked about, back to the issue of government now, you talked about the incentive and the market a while ago and said one thing government needs to do is to address these incentives or the market. I think you may have used the word attack or some similar expression at that time. But like I said a while ago as well, every crime has some incentive, every crime has some market in quotes now, and that's why those engaged in those crimes are able to do so. That's why they are motivated to do so. So when you talk about government attacking the market in this case, what specifically do you mean?
Now, for every production site, at least for I've been to like one or two just to understand what is happening. You see people come to buy the finished product. Those people in turn take it back into the city and it is spreading around. And I know it is cheaper than the regular one being done by the federal government. But if we could start by trying to stop those camps from operating, that is an attack on trying to reduce the market itself. Because I can tell you, I was in Lagos last year, I was walking on the street with a Niger, and I saw bottles of empty Ragolis bottles filled with kerosene. And I was shocked because it was very clear. I have not seen that type of kerosene in over 10 years or 8 years of looking at it. But if you look at the street of Port Harcourt and look at the type of kerosene that we see, you will see that people have totally abandoned the original one that I saw in Lagos and not depend on this particular one. So it is a common thing. It's not hidden again that we now use artisanal refining kerosene, artisanal refined kerosene in our houses, in everything that we do. So if we can stop that first of all, that will mean that maybe the petrochemical plant will be up and running, and also talk about the issue around importing these of these products. When we import and the products don't get to this part of the area, it means that the assistant refiners make more money because a thousand of people within the Niger Delta depend on this particular kerosene that is going on. So it's for them to first of all try to reduce those camps by the military going into the camps and destroying all of them. And that's something about the military. It's something that the military is a bit of concern because there have been statements left and right. There have been articles written about the military's involvement in traditional refining. Maybe that is why this has come to this. Maybe that is why the fight against traditional refining has come to today. But however, it would not be far for us to conclude that there should be some amount of connivance where these particular activities are going on. Because if you go to the crypto of the Niger Delta, go to communities with the Niger Delta, mostly around the valleys and the Malaria, you see pretty push on water, on land. I get it. And I see the NSCDC saying that they're fighting it. I do not have any intelligence or any 21st century technique in trying to determine how to neutralize this. This is killing us. That's one point to understand. It is killing us. It's not about the business or anything. It is killing us. That is why I think government needs to start by attacking that particular market that is there. And again, most importantly, what is government plan in trying to reduce poverty in life? What government plan in trying to improve the economy of the region to ensure that this particular incentive is still immediately? What is that? Because that I feel is another reason. There are no jobs. People can live hard. They are not in good conditions. Many people live below $1. So when you live below $1, and you can imagine the type of economic situation you are facing, then you understand that probably one of the reasons why people are investing into that business is for economic progress.
It is hard fact 973 Nigeria info and hearing with Harker Environmental Rights Action. Friends of the Earth Nigeria worried over illegal refining of oil in the Niger Delta region. Kentebe Ebiaridor, Port Harcourt office head, is my guest on the show. We'll go for a break. When we return, we'll discuss the connivance of agents of the state and even communities in this illegally thriving business, and how it is impacting our environment, impacting economically as well, and even socially, and steps we must take to bring it to an end. The station, hard fact return shortly.
Information is a two-way thing. Nigeria Info, it's your turn. Let's talk.
And now, Hard Facts. Hard Facts with Dayo.
Welcome back to Hard Facts to Nigeria Info here in Port Harcourt. I'm Dayo. 22 minutes to go before 5 o'clock. The news update is up then. Before then, however, Environmental Rights Action and Friends of the Earth Nigeria say it remains worrisome the government is doing little to nothing to stop illegal oil refining in the Niger Delta region. It followed the recent 3 fire outbreaks in 3 consecutive days in River State, and the head of Port Harcourt office, Kentebe, Ebiaridor, joins me via phone for the conversation at this time. How is the situation still persisting? What do we need to address it and other related matters? Kentebe, you're welcome once again.
Thank you very much.
So let's talk about connivance here. It's not unlikely that there is some connivance, and that's how this situation is able to persist as long as it has, and might even be increasing as far as volume and activity is concerned. It's been suggested and alleged in many quarters that there is no way that this illegal industry would thrive without the knowledge and connivance of security agents. What is the position of Environmental Rights Action on the activities of security agents and agencies in eliminating this horrible menace?
Well, our position is very clear. We understand the fact where the military was brought into the Niger Delta, and also the fact that since the issues around the police have not left the region, that means they are here to not just to protect the lives and properties, but also to ensure that all exploration does not stop. However, the fact that we have stories, we have reports of military people being directly and indirectly involved in artisanal refining is very worrisome. And I think it's something that does not need to be in existence if we are serious about ending the artisanal refining. There have been several times where we see military people being directly involved. Community people have told me that I was in the city one of these some months ago in a particular community, and I saw smoke coming up from a particular place. And I asked the community, what's the problem? Who is in the farm by this? He said, no, it's the military people. I thought what are they doing? That they're actually involved in the activity, that they have their own party line. And these people don't pay to them a certain amount of money, then they blow up their phone. I mean, I was shocked, but that was the community testimony. So it is not easy to say that if there was no connivance, there won't be that particular picture going to try it. I have seen federal troops move into most of these camps, destroy them, and again, you see them erupting. I mean, I've been told several times that the military is coming, so they ask them not to operate. I mean, when people start having confidence in conniving with military to do X, Y, Z activities, then it is worrisome in terms of security and social welfare.
Besides the military, do you have any information that there are other, or there might be other security agencies involved as well?
There have been stories and there have been testimonies by communities where also groups like the NCDC is also part and parcel of the process, where they have selected checkpoints in different parts of the community, and you see women who buy these refined products in put in sack bags because they don't use their accounts again. They put it in sack bags, past military checkpoints, stop over to hand over some money to the airport, whoever is there, and they move on. Now, if you see such a person carrying such an item and you are there to protect or reduce such activity, why not just arrest the person immediately and move straight to the place where the person has purchased from? But if people could carry these products and pass checkpoints for passing some of money, then it's not difficult to understand that the military is directly involved in it.
How about state actors? And I'm talking regional, state governments now, the Niger Delta region, at whatever level, whether state or local government. There have been some allegations that there are state actors as well, elected or appointed officials who might be involved in these illegal activities also. Do you have any reports in that direction?
Well, actually, I've also heard such reports where, we have politicians, politicians being directly involved in all of this, sponsoring such camps and paying them and paying the operators some money. So I have seen that type of report, and then it is very sad. I don't want to say it's not true. Either I might say that it is totally ruled out, but I'm saying it's very sad. And I thought by now, considering the fact that the Niger Delta has turned to an exploration field by the oil company, considering the fact that even before this situation began, the entire Niger Delta was, life expectancy was below 50. I expected that the government of the Niger Delta region formed a strong bond in trying to protect the environment. I know that nature challenges is special law, but at least it would be good for them to come together and try to take measures to ensure that they protect the lives and property which for both. Article 24 of the African Charter of People and Human Rights states that every human, boy, girl, child, baby, every human has the right to an environment, has the right to a clean environment desirable to impose development. What we are seeing in the Niger Delta is not an environment that is desirable to impose development, and it's totally unacceptable.
How about the communities where these illegal activities take place? I mean, they are the people who are, first and foremost, I perceive, and who are most directly impacted by these activities. What is the level of their connivance, and do they understand how these illegal activities impact on them?
For the communities, like I said, it is more like an alternative source of livelihood for them. You see mothers say, my baby, I get that camp. I mean, with pride, telling you that a child owns a camp, and the money that they get from that place, they use it to build houses. And if you go to some communities, or general communities, sometimes some of the structures you see will make you a little bit shocked because it's in a community. But those are proceeds of this type of activity where these boys make money from it and use it to go on it. So for communities, for them, it's their property, the oil is in their land, and for that type of activity is ongoing. It also means that they're taking a share of what naturally belongs to them, which for me is criminal, whatever means they want to look at it.
Let's talk about the impacts now. You've touched on that briefly earlier on the start of the conversation. Let's talk about the impact economically, socially, environmentally to these communities where these activities happen, and even the larger environment as well.
The impact is very normal. The impact, most especially how on the health. We have a situation where women still give birth on a daily basis. We have a situation where we don't have a health system in the country. Most annoying is that our health systems are not up and doing. And it's not just in Rivers State, it's the entire country. I mean, so because it's that our health system is not sufficient enough. But if you look at the response of the against COVID, it means that they haven't. And for them, giving Nigerians, giving Nigerians access to clean air is not part of the priority.
Hello, Kentebe.
I'm here.
All right, so and let's talk about what can be done or needs to be done to address this now. We talked about the challenges, we talked about what those incentives and what might be causing it to thrive and connivance at state level with state actors and non-state actors. Is there anything that can be done then? Is there a possibility of ending this? And if there is, what steps do we need to take or must we take to ensure that?
Well, to start, I think there needs to be a stakeholder dialogue where we can come together and actually discuss lots of issues, both especially by the oil-bearing community, all the stakeholders in the oil and gas sector, the state and federal government, the security outfit, come to a roundtable to just understand what the problem is. Because without understanding what the problem is, it may be difficult to actually tackle it. Because it's something that needs to be looked at politically. It's not just about the community or it's about government. All the community members of the oil-bearing community are major stakeholders, and they need to understand that the more the activities go on, is the more that we have lesser life expectancy into mental health. And what should be listening to do, people who are actually involved with it, if they continue making money and they feel that they are comfortable with it, they should also understand that in the long run they will spend all that money on healthcare. It's something that we are just what we are not for unjust purposes. So, no matter the amount of money they also spend it on the healthcare, and that is something that is very, very.
Oh, maybe I can take a few contributions right now before we wrap up the conversation. The lines are open. A couple of calls, I suppose. Call 0817 923 0002, 0817 923 0003 on 0007. We're live on Facebook.com/Nigeria PH. WhatsApp on 0809 030 6416. And via Facebook. Okay, I'll get to Facebook shortly. Let's go to the phone line now. Hello, hard to welcome.
Hello, Zion.
Hello, go ahead.
Good evening. So for the matter, my name is Akugo from Okike. So for the matter, we are talking about illegal bunkering. So the only thing is that the police in Niger Delta should hold their people. If they hold their people, you see that the rate of bunkering in South will reduce. Most they put money, even if this of our politicians have sit in a particular area in Riverine. They were mentioning most of them who move with the badge, but I cannot explain. I cannot mention them of the person. The people are the people who are representing us in Abuja. I'm just telling the fact. The truth is there, but they cannot tell you what is. So that is why they can. I can tell you, past government wrote me. I'm a current minister now. When he was a governor, he stopped any police that moved with the vehicle. They burn his vehicle and that bunkering. You see that people were able to reduce way to move the bunkering.
Great to hear from you. Thanks for your contribution via Facebook. Crown Bamdela Kinshalos. It's not strange that the government at all levels are not ready, willing to combat illegal oil refining in the Niger Delta. They, the government, know what to do when they are ready. Mecca and one of the rim goes down, they're not benefiting by those at the top. That's why the bottom is still the way it is. Greater consequences await us in our health and environment if this harmful acts are not stopped. Ellen Cart goes, greetings to everyone. Okay. Man Johnny goes, corruption in high places is the reason illegal oil refining is still in operation. The authorities reluctant to stop it because they are the chief financiers of the illegal activities. Every time when Harry wants to have a taste of the national cake, that's why the operators don't scrutinize the risk they take or consider the health hazard caused by the operation. Graham Pepper goes, the government is involved. You can't believe a councillor in Boni local government area is involved in it. Try to tell Kentebe. Let's take a call right now before we wrap it up. Hello, hard to welcome.
Okay, my name is Charles Mabluma.
Go ahead, Charles.
I'm going to give you certain figures here. It talks about I'm working at local government, so I'm going to give you the figures directly from the body of Senate. It takes about between 6 and 10 million naira to set up a camp. And a standard cooking drum will produce about 70 drums per night. And a liter of diesel minimum will go for about 150 naira. So if I'm producing 70 drums per night and selling at 150 naira, each drum contains about 200 liters. Putting the math together, that means I will be selling about 2.1 million every night. If I say about 4 million every night, don't forget the crude is a stolen crude. So if I invest for 1 million every night, yeah.
That is one fact. Secondly, if you want to recommend for solutions to this, why can't this government open these things up? And about modular refineries, because these are capital intensive projects. Why can't go
Hello?
and see how they can modernize this technology? People have modernized their own technologies. Develop a Nigerian and indigenous technology to see how this thing will not impact on the environment and see how we can say foreign exchange and push out this diesel legally at that point in time. Thank you, just for my bloomer.
All right. Kentebe, finally, as we wrap up the conversation, the issue of modular refineries has been mentioned severally in conversations as being a panacea or an end to this. Do you think that that's the magic wand we need to bring an end to this, modular refineries?
For me, in as much as people have clamored for modular refineries, I really think that it's not a proper solution or it's not the total solution to the problem. The problem is about poverty. The problem is about the economic situation in the state or in the country. That is the problem. There are no jobs. So if you set up a modular refinery, how many people will get involved in this particular system? How many people have the capacity to even set it up? So modular refinery is just a drop in the ocean in terms of trying to solve the solution or making an attempt to solve the solution. How many modular refineries are going to have in the entire Niger Delta? Are we going to have 100 of them? And if we have 100 of them, what are we going to be doing when it comes about reducing our CO2 emissions? We're not going to do anything about it because these boys must have access to money. This business must continue while it is done in a more proper and refined method. But the process still remains that all these activities of having refineries, having petrochemical plants, those are increasing the climate change impact to the carbon of the Niger Delta. Already the Niger Delta is destroyed. So I don't see what is there remaining to do again, other than the fact that we keep destroying it on a daily basis. But the only thing that we can do is at least reduce the impact it will have on our health and the human being.
By what time put even down, the level of connivance by security agencies is just massive when those that are supposed to enforce the law now get involved in the crime who will enforce the law. Thanks to Kentebe, Ebiaridor, Head Environmental Rights Action and Friends of the Nigeria Port Harcourt office to join the conversation. Kentebe, many thanks for your time.
Thank you very much for having me.
Commercial break right now. To 40 hours, we've got the news update, and when I return, discussions continue. More palliative from the federal government to cushion the effect of subsidy removal on petrol. Do stay with us.